I found some very interesting um, descriptions about responsibilities within the educational institutions itself. And what you can read is that the impact of academic dishonesty goes way beyond the individual impact of a person, since it's also crossing moral and ethical boundaries sometimes. And also the reaction of perceived academic integrity of the institutions might lead to devaluation of degrees. So this is one point, but also the threat of validity of those credentials. And this is very annoying if you think on what the task of educational institutions normally is. And this is giving degrees on the one hand side, but also making sure that these degrees will keep or be on a validity level that is expected in the market. And so in that research, they found also that exam takers who tend to cheat will be less prepared as a later workforce, right? Or for the later workforce, and they are more likely to engage in similar unethical behaviors, which is also something I think very notable at that point. There is more on the responsibility side of things. So the educational institutions consider themselves, of course, more than only being degree granters in a way, but also have like as a state institution, a commitment of producing in a way ethical and prepared citizens for the later workforce life, for example. And I think the last one is that one that caught my attention the most. That the institutions do have not only so they do not only have the responsibility to hold exam takers accountable when you actually caught them cheating, but also really systematically limit this cheating by taking prevalent steps. So this is, my opinion, very important, since we are in a very special situation as of now. Of course, driven by the pandemic situation, but also driven by the digitalization that has been seen before. A short overview on how the situation in Europe looks like at the moment, out of our view, of course. It's about the necessity. So general responsibilities of educational institutions, of course, on top of that, the pandemic lead in sudden increase of digitalization, and also the need for alternative testing methods. Also the information deficit, that sudden confrontation with that topic in online proctoring, paired with general uncertainty, brought quite a lot discussion in that very special topic. And we've seen, for example, already last year, and down the line we saw more of these court decisions. That one just refers to a court decision made by the by the Court of Amsterdam in favor of the University of Amsterdam, who started early on when the pandemic hit the first time, and they needed to give answers to the question: okay, how go on? How can we just go on with testing tests for students and stuff like that? So they started with online proctored exams, and there has been some outcry, I would say, from students who actually raised complaints about what they have been forced to do. And but in the end, since this is a very special situation, the court decided at that time that they can go on with online proctored exams, and that there is a need, and that the price not doing this would be losing a lot of time and putting a lot of different pressure on the affected students that way. And talking about that, or based on that decision and based on experiences we made the last month, there is now a very broad discussion going on, which we are right in the midst of, in order to find out what the learnings are, what we can do better, what we can do to improve the situation. And there is, and this is very promising to my opinion, since we are in very productive discussions with data authority, with students, with affected and institutions, and so on and so on. why distance learning, you would ask. And also looking back in the experiences we made so far, Proctorio, that will come up later, started 2013, based in US. This is state of the art, as I mentioned before. So distance learning swept a little bit over into Europe, based on digitalization first off, and second because of the pandemic situation in the moment. But you would also would still ask, why distance learning? And what we see and what we feel and what the feedback from students and institutions is, the flexibility in scheduling is a topic very important, or also the unlimited participation. Think about all the distance students you will have in your institutions, people, foreigners, people located anywhere in the world, also should need to be included in modern education, and this is a way to make that happen, actually. Or also the aligned, it has to be aligned with personal situation. It needs to be adapted to the professional requirements, of course, and also studying in my pace, like really not based on any geographical or timely matters. You can do it in your self pace. And below that, you can see a quotation from one of our customers. It's the ACAD University, located in Stuttgart, Germany. It's a distance university. They do a lot of adult in-service education, like in parallel to working life. And this flexibility in geo and time is very important for most of these kind of students. And we also we can also find exam taker quotations. So of course, we saw concerns raised by some of the students, but this is a positive one. And here a student from our customer ACAD University, in that case, reached out via LinkedIn, and he stated that how good it has been to have that format, the possibility to actually do it either on site, as before, or online, and exactly the time, the freedom of choice in terms of time and geography, like the place where I need to take the test, has been major reasons for him to really speak very positively about online proctored exams. The challenges for education providers, it's just a few among a lot of you. Will have some others maybe, but it is the need for alternatives. Like on-site is given, but how to make that online, how to manage this different situation, like having somebody sitting at home and doing a test, still keeping the academic integrity up. How to manage this and how to actually make that happen is one need. Like also 360 degree offering, that you can do it on site, that you can do it also the day you are in a situation to take a test, that you can actually decide in that instant, oh, it would be better to do it from home because I'm, for example, don't know, I have a snort or something, a small illness, whatever, but I would be able to take the test. Thinking about the special Corona situation in the moment, we see situations that you will not be allowed to take the test, since it could be Corona in that kind of time. And then we have heard stories about students losing a year of time because of a minor challenge. But this is something directly relating to a 360 degree offering. Of course, maintaining integrity, very important. We talked about that. The validity of the given degrees, very important. The competitive pressure, if others do it, maybe my institution, your institution need to do it too in order to be competitive. Organizational, administrative efforts and cost, for example, but also talking about the ecological footprint, for example. It would be needed. What we see and what we feel is, if you can do it at home, you don't need to travel. You don't need to enlarge the ecological footprint in that sense. So these are challenges, but also needs why you would go for it. The market expectation, as you can see, it is the freedom of choice for everybody, the case-by-case flexibility, as stated. the service value for all affected parties in maintaining it from an institutional view, but also the service value for students, test takers, the equality of opportunities. Doesn't matter the way you will take an exam, reliability and transparency of the results. Again, the validity, as stated, availability of alternatives is always a big thing, and fast and workable solutions to really comply with situations like we see it in an instant, sometimes if needed. Talking about the learnings from experiences, and there is 3 pillars we found talking about proctoring online exams. And from left to the right, we start with involvement, since it's so important once you want really to roll something like online proctoring out to your audience, to your students, to the test takers. Involvement from the first second, I would say, is important. That everybody knows what's going on, the transparency is there with all stakeholders, and so really involve the examiners from the beginning. The second thing, of course, is compliance. There is a lot of sensitive data handled within an exam situation, and of course it needs to be, first of all, voluntary. That is definitely based on, if it's voluntary, there need to be alternative ways, of course, that's given. And second, of course, the technical view on this is implementation of future-proof and state-of-the-art technical organizational measures to safeguard students' data, to just minimize the amount of data you would collect, and also to minimize the time you will store the data, just to really comply with the given rules around examination, the rules around academic integrity. But last but not least, the third one is the applicability. And this is also a very huge learning, I would say. So at the beginning, when nobody of the pandemic situation, nobody exactly knew what's going on, and we need to go on, and of course it will be online and it need to be proctored. But what we would say is, not every exam format will lend itself to a online proctored scenario as we offer it, like an automized proctored exam situation. So it's really very important to find out before what is it applicable for the exam format? What is the exam format? Is it an oral, a written, a multiple choice, open book, whatever it is? You need to find out and then decide, is that the right way to go with an online proctored exam or not? The second is, of course, the individual exam taker situation is also important to find out about the applicability. Some people do not feel comfortable at all to get proctored, not even in an on-site situation, but nevertheless, there need to be some kind of alternative ways. And if on-site is better than online, hey, let's do it on-site for a few and go on-site for others. Just resolve that quickly in regards of the time we have today, starting with the involvement, as we saw, like the involvement as the first pillar, student involvement, a little bit in more detail, keep the process transparent and open, offer viable alternatives as stated, and provide detailed information about the process, do some kind of mock exam before, let them technically check what's going on. Once everything is set, there will be a decision, and then go after that decision. That's very, very important. The compliance side of view is a discussion often begins with data protection concerns, and then moves sometimes into resistance as we have seen early on in the pandemic situation. The learning is huge at that point, not to start the discussion without involvement and forcing somebody in that situation. So once that's given, we can easily comply with everything. We can get the consent from students if that's the viable option. And of course, the technical side of things is, in our case, as Proctorio, given, since we, from the first moment when we started 2013, had in mind we need to safeguard that data, since it's sensitive data we handle, and implemented really more than state of the art, like really perfect technical organizational measures to safeguard all these. We can give some more detail on that if you want in a later on discussion or during the live demo. applicability. Last but not least, is institutions need to have a reliable process. I will show you an example in a minute, to place and determine applicability, right? And this starts with an internal discussion about the exam format of choice. Answer the questions: what is the right format for proctoring? Remember, also an on-site situation will be proctored by a person, as you know it, of course. In an online situation, I need to answer some new questions. And once that's clarified, test the basic knowledge, and also versus the thesis defense, right? And verifiable and efficient decisions need to be made on an institutional level. And that's what I said. The assessment itself, like the test scenario itself, must lend themselves to online proctoring. And once that's given, and the consent, the involvement, the transparency, and the trust and reliability in compliance measures, then you're ready to go.
Thomas, there's a question from
sorry, yes, sure.
It's quite well. So Marielle is asking, when offering the choice between online testing or on-site testing, how do you address the issue of unequal conditions of testing from a legal point of view?
Yeah, that's in a way easy to answer, since the legal point of view, and we have really deeply dived in that with lawyers and data security officers all over Europe. And first of all, there is no legal aspect in this inequality, since you don't necessarily need to have exactly the same conditions, since that's not possible, of course, between a on-site taken exam and a online taken exam. That's from a legal point of view, definitely no problem, since both are proctored once you have that, and there might be different exam formats in place, of course, for an on-site and a online exam, but legally spoken, there is no issue at all, since there is no need for equality. I can send you some more legal description around it if you want later on. So it would be good if you can share details, or you will see, or get in contact with us, so I can share some more legal details on that. The second one, of course, is I want to have that equality. For example, starting at the same time, or giving same environmental Bedingungen. Sorry, I lack the English word for that. But we want to be equal in conditions, right? So the equal conditions, and if you really want to do it, it's again a matter of a proper planning. That you, for example, have a session on site start at the same time an online session will start. You can just make that happen, or you will apply different exam formats for the same topic, like for the same topic, but have it, for example, multiple choice in an online, but more openly ask in an on-site testing, for example. So and also working with pools of questions in order to not exactly ask all of the students the exactly same questions, ask them in a different order. But this has nothing to do with the legal point of view. This is more how to make it organizationally happen, that somebody cannot cheat because somebody took it in the morning, the other in the evening. So if you just organizationally think about that through a little bit before, then there is no legal, but also no organizational topic. And maybe coming back to the conceptual implementation roadmap, this is just a quick overview. There are also some more details available, of course, but in quick, it's preparing the exam scenario, create and conduct the sample testing, prepare the real exam, always in connection with the students, always in connections with the examiners and professors, of course. Then conduct the exam, make the exam follow up, just look in the details, look that everything went good, find out about suspicious behavior if that's the case, clarify it through the organizational through the organizational structures, starting with the test center and then go on to the authorities if needed. And afterwards, the final step is, of course, delete everything and make a new exam. So this is just in quick. Again, there is some more details available, but in sake of the time, I will just go on and quickly introduce Proctorio before we will have a real look into the solution that might also clarify some questions. Okay, so Proctorio itself, as I stated, we started 2013 in Scottsdale, Arizona, which is Phoenix, if you do not know Scottsdale. We have roughly 120 employees in 3 locations globally. It's located in Belgrade, Munich, and that office in Scottsdale, Arizona. Globally, we have roughly 1,200 customers, both in institutional but also corporate sector, like companies working with us for classic learning within companies. Last year, we proctored roughly 20 million online exams globally, real exams in that case. And year to date this year, we have seen already roughly 30 million. So this is has been updated last week, but we have again exam season, and we are roughly at 30 million at the moment. I expect that we will have some 25 to 30 million globally proctored exams this year. In Europe, we roughly a quarter to a third of the volume, also the customers, also the exams. This is growing a little bit faster since the European market hasn't seen proctoring that much just 2 years ago, for example. What is Proctorio? Proctorio is a AI or algorithm-based platform for fully automated proctoring for online tests. We're working as a browser extension, which makes it easy and quick to get up and running. We're talking about 1 minute, 5 minutes, not more to get it up and running from a student's perspective. But with our institutional customer, it's also true for already integrated solutions like Moodle, Canvas, Blackboard. These standard learning management solutions we are, of course, connected to. I think we are roughly connected to around about 80 learning management and assessment solutions these days, and it's very easy and straightforward to connect ones we have not seen yet, but this is something we can make happen quickly. And the focus is on minimal technical requirement. As you can imagine, we are in almost every country globally, not in Iran and Northern Korea and some areas in the world where we're not allowed to make this happen. The individual setting for customized testing criteria is a very important topic. We will see that in a minute. Authentication of test taker, also important, since knowledge is personal. Knowledge need to be personal, and individual authentication is also in on-site testing a big topic to find out is the right person here to do the test. Recording of the entire exam process and test taker behavior is what we do, and real-time monitoring and analysis afterwards with comparison to reference of standard data sets, but also standard behavior within a course or a class will lead to something we would call suspicious level. We will see that in a minute. One last sentence to data security and privacy, since it's a very, very important topic to our opinion. We are GDPR conform. This is also discussed with authorities in different countries like Netherlands and Germany, for example. We've been with the authorities, discussing with them, also discussing on and on about improvements, which is not too much we need to improve. And we do have something called threefold data protection. Funny fact, we named it zero knowledge encryption or zero knowledge approach. That's in education, of course, a good thing to have, you can imagine. No, but the zero knowledge encryption 3-level, which means we cannot see any data from the outside. It's in transport, at rest, and also back on transport into the existing learning management solution, encrypted on the highest available levels. And the only key holder, the sole responsible party is the institution, and the only party with the key to see that data is you. It's the institutions, it's the universities, the high schools, the academies, and so on and so on. So this is a very, very future-proof methodology to really handle the data the safest way. And of course, we have a data protection officer. We have our own ISO 27001 and SOC2 certificate for Proctorio made just a few weeks ago in order to prove that our technical organizational measures that are in place are really proof, right? And valid. Okay. So this is what I wanted to show you about Proctorio, about our experiences, about the learnings. And at that point, I want to hand over to my colleague Melvin to give him the chance to lead you through our solution live.
Yeah, thank you. I will first share my screen with you. Just a moment. So good day, everybody. I will provide a live demo for you. And what we are looking at is an integration within Moodle. As mentioned before, Proctorio only works if it's integrated in either an assessment or LMS tool or whatever. And today we're using for the demonstration. Now what we are looking at are a couple of tests that are prepared, and below you will find the test I've prepared for today. Now I want to go into the settings to show you how easy it is to set up Proctorio. I will go into the editing mode, and what you see here is the quiz we have prepared for today. This all is Moodle, and within this menu structure you will find a menu that's called Proctorio settings. And that's where we're interested in. It's seamlessly integrated, and you will find that in any other system as well. And when we click on these settings, you can set up Proctorio to secure the exam proctoring. The first thing you notice is saved profiles. You won't find any yet because we haven't saved any, but if we do the settings today, it's so easy just to save them and use them again. It's just a matter of a second and your exam will be proctored at your settings. Now today we're going to have a look at 4 settings, and within these settings a couple of options. We will start with the first one, and these are the recording options. Now to make a really good online proctoring, you need a camera. We use the camera of a laptop, and of course we want to have a recording. We also like to have an audio recording. That makes sure that it's an intelligent audio recording. It makes sure that we have a crisp and clear audio recording, not only of your own voice, but also what's happening in the room. We also want to have a record of the screen. That means whatever I'm seeing during the exam committee will see as well during the recordings. We can also record the web traffic, so we will find out each and every page that is visited during the exam. The final record option is record room, and that's a 360 record of the room, 360-degree record of the room, and you can do that before the exam starts or during the exam when the system is asked you to pick up your laptop and literally make a 360-degree room scan. So these are the recording options. Next to that we have the lockdown options, and these will do a couple of settings, not only for the test taker, but also to secure the content of your exam. The first lockdown option is force full screen. If we click on this, the exam will be taken in a full screen. You're not allowed to, or you cannot even go behind any other screen. It's just the exam, and that's what it is. The second lockdown option is use only one screen, which makes sense, right? You don't need the second screen for an exam. And if we click on this, Proctorio will ask if you have a second screen to unplug it so that you can move on with your exam. Disable new tabs, meaning that you cannot open any other tabs within your browser. And if you have any open, we can use this option. We will ask you to close open tabs so that you cannot hide information in any open tabs. The next option is disable printing. That means that you're not able to print any content from the exam. So with pushing this option, you will not be able to print. Disable clipboard. That will then you will not be able to put any information on the clipboard by copy paste, which of course is especially if you want to secure your content, an important option. Block downloads. That means that you're not allowed to download any systems within the exam or any content from the exam. Clear cache. We have very smart students these days, and some of them are able to get more information after the exam is taken. With clearing the cache memory, we'll make sure that no advanced technology is able to find any more exam question remains that are on the laptop. Disable right click, also for copy paste functionalities. And the last for the lockdown option is the prevent re-entry option. Now we have a couple of options here. You can choose by having the student come in and out of the exam as they wish, which can be done, but you can also choose if you're out, you're out. Whatever the reason is, loss of the internet, or you just close the exam, you're not able to re-entry. And there's a third option, and that is that if you want to re-enter, you have to contact our 24/7 support desk, and you have to explain to one of our support desk employers why you left and why you're able to get in again. And we will put that in the gradebook later on so that the exam commission knows what happens. Then we have another setting that's called the verification options. The first one is verify the video, and this is an intelligent option. It will notice if your camera has a clear and crisp view on your face. If there's enough light and if you can see the eyes, it's really a face recognition functionality that we can have really a good look at what you're doing during the exam. The same counts for the audio part, that we will know what's going on in the room. Are there multiple people? Is there talking? Is there collaboration? And that's what the audio option is doing. The verified desktop, that means that we have a crisp and clear recording of the desktop. And verify ID is the auto ID check, which I will show later on how that works, that we can have an automatic ID check for this is particularly important if you want to know for sure that the person who needs to take the exam is the person who takes the exam, so that you know for sure the knowledge is secured by this person. Then we have the verify signature, and this option is very often used. If you have to sign for the agreement for test taking with proctoring, the students are less likely to cheat. So you won't definitely have this option as well. Now, the fourth setting is the in-quiz tools. And for this demonstration, I will use a calculator. We can have a scientific calculator or a basic calculator, and it will provide just what it says, a calculator within the exam. The last option is the whiteboard option, and that will be used for taking notes during the exam. And since we are recording the screen, we are able to see what's on the whiteboard as well. So with this, I have done all the 4 settings, and just by clicking a couple of options, I'm ready to go. And we can save this profile if you want to use it again. It's just a matter of one click and you're good to go with Proctorio. I will save my settings, and what I now will do is I will change my role from a teacher's point of view to the student's point of view. I will log out and I will log in again, but now as student. I log in and I can have here my overview of test courses, and at the bottom I can see the demo for today, which I need to make my exam, and I can do that whenever I want as long as the exam is open. So I click on it. I can see that it's remotely proctored by Proctorio. It also states here, a webcam and a microphone are required to take this exam. The exam will close Saturday, 19th of June. And the time limit for the exam is 1 hour. I will attempt the quiz, and what you can see here is all the information that is required by the use with Proctorio. Everything here is stated, what will be recording, what is restricted, the 24/7 support. It's all here so that each and every student is informed what's going on. Now, first of all, we will start the exam pre-checks, and that will check my webcam, microphone, if the connection is correct. It will ask me which screen I will share. And as you can see, the camera is working. There's some extra information like use the restroom, get some water, get comfy, and get ready. Now I can see myself above, so I will click the next button, and Proctorio is asking for the identification card. Now it will ask for a clear picture of my face. With that done, I have to sign the exam agreement by clicking I accept. So my picture will be in and my ID card will be in, and I will start with the exam. Now on left, you can see on the left side, you can see that Proctorio is running. This fencer is the part that's recording my face. Now the first question is an open question which asks, please explain how online exams should be proctored. Now I have done a little setting so everything is open, so I can easily open a new tab and I can find an answer just simply searching on Google. If I go to the Proctorio website, I will click on it. I can see some interesting text here which I want to copy as the use of an answer. Copy, and within the settings I haven't closed anything except for you're not allowed to copy and paste. So I can find it, I can see it, you can close it all down, but I have chosen to keep everything open, but I cannot use the copy paste functionality. So for this open question, I will also take a look at the left with my head movement. We will see that later on in the grade book as well, that I've been looking away, and I will just skip this answer. There will be another question that's a multiple choice that's asking, what is Proctorio? Well, of course, that's a platform for fully automated online proctoring. Again, I can look up and to the side, and Proctorio will all mention that that's an odd behavior during the exam. These are the questions I need to answer, so I will finish the attempt, and by finishing this attempt and submit all, Proctorio is closed. So all the functionality is shut down. Proctorio has done his job, and the recording can be found by the examination commission. So I will again log out, and I will re-entry as teacher. When I go to the tests that need to be taken, I can scroll down again and I can see that the OEBcast demo is remotely proctored. I click on it and I will find a Proctorio gradebook right here. If I open it, you will find the recording we just made during the attempt. Now, I guess I did very well because I only have a suspicious level of 20%. That's really not much that happened. And how do we get to this 20%? I can show you within the Proctorio settings. I want you to remember we already had done the settings before the exam, and these settings can be changed. Not the settings we have done, but we can give them another value. So I will go to custom and I can say, well, navigating away isn't a problem. But I can also say, yeah, navigating away with your head, that is an issue. Copy paste, that's not done. Head movement, you cannot do that. Audio levels or whatever, we can all change that. And by changing this, we'll go back to the gradebook, you will see that the suspicious level from 20% and a green light has changed into an orange value for 54% of suspicious level. You can change these settings in any way possible, what counts for you during the exam. And if we take a look at what happened, I will open the attempt. And you will see here the video that is recorded, and on the right side you see what happened during the exam regarding the screen and also the internet visit, etc. Now below you find the timeline, and you can see some red lines, and if you click on that, something happened which is odd behavior during the exam. So, for example, we will find, if I play the video, you will see that I've been visiting websites. You can also find it on the right side. So, you will see exactly what happened during the attempt of this exam. If you take a look at the functions we find on the right, we have here the video. We have the room scan, we didn't do during this exam. We can find the screen recording, and we can also find where the location is where we did this exam attempt. And if I click that, you will find that I'm based in the Netherlands in the area of Utrecht. We can also make notes, for example, by each and every screen. By looking away. I've done that a couple of times, as here you can say head movement is looking away. You can make a note and put all kind of information in here. You can also find here the identification card. If I click on that, you have a clear picture of my head and my identification card, and the last option is a PDF export. If I click on this, I can make some settings for a PDF export for the report of this exam attempt. These are the settings we use after the exam attempt, and if we go down, you can see that the attempt has ended when I submitted the exam, so not by internet loss or any other technical issue. We have the web traffic index. We know that it was that I visited two websites, Google and Proctorio, and also on the timeline you can see where that was. The computer performance index is also in the gradebook, so that we know for sure that there were no technical issues when we took the exam. Now this is what it looks like when you have one exam. If I go back, I will open another one, And just to show you what it will look like if you have a larger group of examiners taking the test. Now you can see here, it's a much longer list. We have tried to do everything possible to cheat, and that's why you have so many red dots. That's on purpose. You can see collaboration means that we have asked for the answers to other people. It's flagged, so that's a suspicious attempt at the end. We have here, for example, something with the identification card. We can look it up. We'll open this one, and if we go to the identification card, you can see that Proctorio didn't recognize a face, but yeah, something different. So basically that's how Proctorio works in a live environment, and that also means that I'm going to give the presentation back to you, Thomas.
Yeah, thank you, Melvin. Thank you. Good. Okay, looking at the time, we have 8 minutes left. I hope that gave you a little bit more detail on what we do and how we do it. Of course, there might be some more questions. Again, I can just offer and suggest get in contact with us. My colleague Marcus shared his mail address in the chat, and we're happy to answer the questions, arrange a meeting with you directly to show you a little bit more. And I just want to take the possibility to wrap it up with two sides of benefit. First, starting with the benefits for institutions and companies. And we see, or our customers also see, that to secure a competitive advantage is a benefit for institutions and companies who are able to offer more than they offer today. And also, like, companies who can offer such thing might be a more attractive employer. So the improvement of the product and service portfolio, of course, is a benefit, as well as guaranteed integrity of quality and knowledge. And this is, I think, the most important part in it, that this is also keeping up integrity and quality of knowledge, what learning and testing knowledge is all about. It's very cost effective, it's very scalable. We have seen customers working only with a few people doing, I don't know, 10, 20, 50 exams a year. We have seen others, they had courses or exams with more than 5,000 participants at once. So we are scalable in each direction, and that in a very cost-effective way. A benefit also is that we already integrated in most of the standard learning management and assessment solutions like Moodle, Canvas, Ilias, Cirrus as assessment solution, question mark, also assessment, if exam, and so on and so on. I think we have already, as I mentioned again, 80 integrations on the list. There will be more, right? And it's internationally proven. We are a global thinking company. We made the 20 million proctored exams globally last year, truly globally, all over the places. And this works very well. But there is definitely a second side of it, and this is the benefits for test takers. This is also very important to our opinion, since the test takers is the one who will get proctored, of course, and but they see benefits in that online format, especially the independency of place and time, the ease of use to really get up and started and running within a few minutes, the 100% integration in the existing learning management environment, so you don't need to establish a new environment. You do not need to install a external software, nothing like this. It's really straightforward, and you can act within the environment you're already used to. No software installation required. We do have live support 24/7, 365 days a year, and our reaction time at the moment is something between 5 and 7 seconds. After you would have a question, a technical issue, we will help you instantly. And we do not store that personal data. It will be fully encrypted stored in the country nearest to your institution. So for the German-speaking area, this is, for example, Frankfurt. For European customers, data center environments, which we can make use of, is in Amsterdam. We do have data centers all over the places in Canada, US, South America, Africa, Australia, New Zealand. So, and Asia, of course, sorry. So this is where the data is stored and will kept until it's deleted after review of gradebook and analyzing and make use of the proctoring and suspicious level information. This is what we wanted to show you today, and with a last glance on few of our customers in mainly in Europe in that case, I will end this presentation. Want to say thank you that you took your time to listen to us today, and last but not least, want again to suggest and offer you the possibility to get in touch with us directly if you're interested and want to have more detailed information. We're happy to answer that. Thank you.